The last class we had discussed about the schematic layout of the power system. In generating session, that is thermal power plant, hydro, nuclear, gas or diesel power plant. Here they are generated in terms of the operating voltage 3.3 kV, 6.6 or 11 kV and then 33 kV. The maximum in the generating station, that is a thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, hydro, gas and then diesel power plant. They are generating the power in terms of the operating voltage 3.3, 6.6, 11 or 33 kV. In India, the generating station maximum they are generated for 11 kV, but in foreign they are generated up to 33 kV. Once they are generated power, immediately they need to send to the consumer via transmission and then distribution line. There is no other options are there. They need to transfer the electric energy via transmission and then distribution line. Here they are used for two types of transformer. One is for step up transformer, another one is for the step down transformer. In that, the generating station they are used for the step up transformer. Remaining all the places they are used for step down transformer. That is the step up transformer. The another name is nothing but the power transformer. Only they are used in the generating station. Remaining all the places they are used for step down transformer. In the step up transformer, based upon the distance, based upon the line length, they boost up the voltage. This 3.3 or 6.6, 11 kV to 66 kV, 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV or 765 kV. In India, the maximum the operating voltage in the overhead transmission line, that is the AC system, is 765 kV. Again, based upon the operating voltage, the transmission line are classified for two types. One is for primary transmission line, another one is for the secondary transmission line. In primary transmission line, the operating voltage is 132 kV, 220, 400 and then 765 kV. Based upon the operating voltage, again the transmission line are classified for two types. One is for primary transmission line, another one is for the secondary transmission line. In primary transmission line, the operating voltage is 132 kV, 220, 400 and then 765 kV. In AC transmission line, the maximum operating voltage in India is 765 kV. Similarly, the secondary transmission line, based upon the operating voltage, that is classified for 33 or 66 kV. 33 or 66 kV, that is represent for secondary transmission. Again, the distribution line, based upon the operating voltage, it is classified for two types. One is for the primary distribution system, another one is for the secondary distribution system. In primary distribution system, the operating voltage is 11 kV, and the secondary distribution system, the operating voltage is 440 volt. 440 volt. In transmission line, that is the primary transmission line, there is no tappings are there. That is connected from generating station to the receiving substation, that is the operating voltage is 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. But in the secondary transmission line, the operating voltage is 33 or 66 kV. Only few tappings are there. Only few tappings are there. That is directly connected to the industrial consumer. That is the bulk amount of consumers. Here in primary transmission line, secondary transmission line, they are concentrated only for the voltage, because there is no tapping is there. The current is limited, that is very less. The current is very less, because to minimize the losses, line losses, that is nothing but I square R losses. I square R losses. The primary parameter is concentrated only for the voltage, not for the current. Again, in the distribution system, primary distribution system as well as for the secondary distribution system, in primary distribution system, they are concentrated only for the voltage, current is minimum. In the secondary distribution system, the voltage is maintained for constant, that is 440 volt, but the current is varying based upon the requirement, based upon the requirement. In primary distribution system, the tapping is very less, only connected for the medium industrial consumer. In secondary distribution system, n number of consumers are available, that is domestic load, irrigation load, municipal load, and low power industrial consumer, low application industrial consumers. This is the schematic diagram in the generating station. That is either thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, gas or diesel power plant. They are generating the power in terms of operating voltage 11 kV or 3.3 kV or 6.6 kV. Here this is three phase, three wire. That is, it represents for the R phase, Y phase and then B phase. Here, this is the primary transmission line. Another one is for the secondary transmission line. Based upon the line length, they are step up the voltage from 11 kV or 3.3, 6.6 to 66 kV, 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. Again, in the they are connected for the any substation, receiving substation, that is from generating station to the receiving substation. In that substation, that 400 volt, again they are stepped down into 400 to 220 kV or 132 kV. 132 kV. Again, in the secondary transmission line, the flow of the operating voltage is either 66 kV or 33 kV. Again, one more substation, they are stepped down. This is distribution side. Again, that is the primary distribution system. Another one is for secondary distribution system. In primary transmission line, the huge amount of the power is transferring, the concentrated for the voltage. In secondary transmission system, the operating voltage is maximum. Again, the current is limited. But in the primary transmission distribution system, the operating voltage is 11 kV. The tapping is very, very less. It is connected for the medium industrial consumer. Medium industrial consumer. The current is also limited, constant. But in the secondary distribution system, the operating voltage is 440 volts. Connected for n number of consumers, the tapping is more. But here, the voltage is constant. That is the 440 volt. The load is increased. The load is increased. No, that is the transmission at present, the power generation is less than the power demand plus power loss. The PG is represent for the power generation, PD is represent for demand, and PL is represent for the line loss. That is nothing but I square R losses. Now, the generation is constant. That is either thermal power plant or hydropower plant, nuclear, gas, and then diesel power plant. The demand at present day to day increases because the population is increased. At the same time, the technology is well developed. All the technology, the source is required, the electricity, and the losses is constant. But we need to satisfy for the consumer two parameters. One is for the qualitative, another one is for the quantitative. The quality means without interruption, without load fluctuation, we need to give for the electricity. Quantity means we need to supply at reasonable price. Once we are generating the power in the generating station, that is thermal power plant or nuclear, gas, and then diesel power plant, immediately we need to send to the consumer via transmission and then distribution line. There is no other options are there. Here, the generating station is far away from the consumers. That is either 500 to 1000 kilometers or far away from the consumers. We can't store this much of voltage. That is, here we are generated for 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV, and then 11 kV. We can store the voltage with the help of battery. That is in terms of volt. That is in market the available 12 volt and then 24 volt battery. We can connect it in series parallel combination. That is, we can store in terms of voltage, not in terms of kilovolts. That is why we can transfer the electric energy from generating station to the consumer premises with two methods. One is for transmission line, another one is for the distribution line. Again, based upon the operating voltage, the transmission line are classified for two types. One is for primary transmission line, another one is for the secondary transmission line. How they are classified? Primary and then secondary transmission line based upon the operating voltage. That is, in primary transmission line, the operating voltage is 132 kV, 220, 400, and then 765 kV. These already they are designed based upon the conductor, based upon the insulator as per the IEEE standard, based upon the supporting structure, so on, etc. In these, the operating voltage, the losses is minimum comparing to the remaining operating voltage. Suppose we can step up the voltage from 11 kV to either 88 kV or 100 kV or 110 kV. But for that particular the operating voltage, the cost is maximum. The insulator, the design is, the losses is more, the line loss is also more. As per the IEEE standard, they are fixed the value. We can boost up the voltage to 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. But this is the as per the IEEE standard. But plus or minus 12 kV to 22 kV, the variation is there. 12 kV to up to 22 or 24 kV, the variation is there. In primary transmission line, the bulk amount of the power is transferring, but here the major parameter is voltage. They are boosting the voltage. The current is minimum. In secondary transmission line, and one more thing, in primary transmission line, there is no tapping is there. They are concentrated only for the voltage because they need to minimize for the line losses. And in the secondary transmission line, here the flow of the operating voltage is 33 or 66 kV. 33 or 66 kV. Here also, they are concentrated for the voltage, the load is minimum. But here connected for the few tappings are there. That is high power industrial consumer, high utilization industrial consumers. And the distribution lines, this is again based upon the consumers. It is classified for two types. For industrial consumer, that is the primary distribution system, that is medium industrial consumer. For low power appliances, that is domestic, irrigation, and then municipal load, it is classified for the secondary distribution system. Again, it is classified based upon the operating voltage. In primary distribution system, operating voltage is 11 kV. Here they are concentrated for the voltage, the load is minimum. The load is minimum. This is connected for the medium industrial consumers. In that industrial consumer premises, they are kept for the step down transformer. Step down the based upon the requirement, based upon the industrial need. They are step down the voltage, are based upon the power factor, are based upon the load. And the secondary distribution line, they are connected for the industrial, that is low power industrial consumer, agriculture purpose, domestic purpose, municipal load, so on, etc. Here the operating voltage is 440 volts. 440 volt, that is 3-phase 4-wire system. 3-phase 4-wire system. But in the primary distribution system, that is 3-phase 3-wire system. 3-phase 3-wire system, that is R phase, Y phase, and then B phase. In the secondary distribution system, the voltage is constant, but the load is varying. This is the classification of transmission and then distribution link. Now, need for transmission and then distribution link. What is the necessity of the transmission and then distribution link? Without transmission and then distribution line, we can't able to transfer the electric energy from generating station to the consumer premises, because the generating station is far away from the consumer. Because wherever the sources is available, in the particular places we need to generate we can generate the electricity. For example, you can take the thermal power plant. Wherever the coal is available for the particular places, we can generate the electricity. Suppose the coal is available in the coal mine, that is far away from the station. We can import the coal with the help of railway wagons or roadways or seaways. And one more drawback in the thermal power plant, it polluted to the environment due to the fumes, and then unburned fuel. That's why the thermal power plant is constructed some amount of distance of the consumer. That is, in that the generating station to the consumer premises, the distance is either 100 km or 50 or 200, 300, and based upon the sum of the distances. That is, the generating station is far away from the consumers. The one method, we can transfer the electric energy from generating station to the consumer premises via transmission and distribution. There is no other options are there. That's why in the transmission line, the operating voltage is high, that is the high operating voltage from 33 kV to up to 765 kV. But in the distribution system, the operating voltage is 11 kV to, that is 440 volt to 11 kV. But in the transmission system, the supporting structure used is towers. But in the distribution system, the supporting structure is used for poles. The supporting structure used for poles. Again, based upon the operating voltage, single circuit is there, double circuit is there. And based upon the weightage, the supporting structure is different. That is, in the transmission line, operating voltage it is classified for primary transmission and then secondary transmission line. Based upon the distance, that is generating station to the substation, or substation to the industrial consumer premises, or substation to the distribution substation. From distribution substation to the consumer premises, based upon the distance, the operating voltage is different. The only they are used in the generating station, the step-up transformer. Remaining all the places they are used for the step-down transformer. Why they are boosting the voltage from 3.3 kV to up to either 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. For example, you can take in the thermal power plants. In thermal power plants, we need to generate, that is either 3.3 kV or 6.6 kV or else the 11 kV. The cost is comes in terms of thousands of rupees. The cost is comes in terms of thousands of rupees. For example, you can take they are generated 200 megawatt power per day. 200 megawatt power. The cost is comes under for either 50,000 rupees. This is not for the accurate value, approximate value. 50,000 rupees. Suppose if they are generated in the generating station itself, either 132 kV or 400 kV or 765 kV, it is possible, but the cost is comes under either 4 lakhs or 8 lakhs. 4 lakhs or 8 lakhs. Here, the for us one available source is there. That is nothing but the transformer. The main function of transformer, which transfers the electric energy from one circuit to another circuit or one place to another place without changeover of frequency. That is the one method. And another one, we can boost the voltage. We can boost the voltage from one level of voltage to the another level of voltage. We can improve the power factor. This many function is there. But here the necessity is we can boost the voltage from one level to the another level. In this, the power transformer or step-up transformer, this 3.3 kV we can boost up into the 765 kV is possible. But here the cost is how much? Here we are spending for 4 lakh to 8 lakh. But here with the help of the step-up transformer, the cost is comes around only for in this the 50,000. Additionally, we are adding for only one transformer. For that purpose, we are using. And why we are boosting the voltage means we need to minimize the I square R losses. I square R loss. If the same 3.3 kV we are sending either 500 kilometer or 300 kilometer or 1000 kilometer, finally they are receiving 0 kV. Finally they are receiving 0 kV. That's why we are boost up the voltage from 3.3 kV to based upon the line length or based upon the distance. This is the necessity or need of the transmission line. And the transmission supply system are classified for two types. One is for the AC system, another one is for the DC system. But maximum 99% we are preferred for the AC system, but only the DC system used for the locomotive, that is electric traction. Electric traction. But in the AC system, the parameters are available, 3 parameters: resistance, inductance, another one is for the capacitance. But in the DC system, the parameter is available only for the resistance. But here, the inductance and capacitance are eliminated or neglected. But in that, the AC system, due to the inductance and capacitance, the losses is more. And one more thing, here the only the parameter is resistance, the losses is very, very less. The losses is very, very less. But here, within a single conductor or two conductor, we can transfer the electric energy. That is, for example, you can take the electric traction, only required for the single conductor. The ground, it is act as a return conductor. The electric track, it is act as a return conductor. But in that the single conductor, we can transfer up to 20 kV or 25 kV. But in the AC system, once the operating voltage is increased, means the number of conductor requirement is also more. Due to that, the conductor weight is increased. The supporting structure is also required for the rugged construction. But in AC system, we can step up the voltage as per our requirement. We can step up the voltage and step down the voltage. And AC substation, the cost is simple. But the DC, the step up and step down is very, very difficult. And the substation is also very, very cost is more. Cost is more. That is based upon the supply system. There are two things. There one is something about the AC supply system, another one is for the DC supply system. And the transmission line is also AC transmission as well as for the DC transmission system. And what are the advantages and disadvantages comparison of AC with respect to the DC system? Now the first one will go for advantages of DC transmission system comparing to the AC transmission system. But in AC transmission system, we can step up the voltage up to 765 kV, up to 765 kV. But in the DC, that is the constant voltage, that is 25 kV, 25 kV. Here the step up and step down is possible, but here the step up and step down is difficult. In AC system, the parameter is available for three parameters: resistance, inductance, and then capacitance. But in the DC system, only the parameters are L and C are neglected or eliminated. L and C are neglected or eliminated. Due to the inductance and capacitance, the losses is more. That is skin effect, proximity effect, spirality effect, corona, so on, etc. So on, etc. Here, more number of conductors are required based upon the operating voltage. For 132 kV transmission line, only 3 conductors is required to transfer the electric energy. The same for 220 and then 400 kV required double circuit. That is, the 6 conductors are required. If you go for the 765 kV in a single phase, the 4 to 6 conductors are required. 4 to 6 conductors are required. If the n number of conductors are increased, means the losses is also increased. The losses is also increased. This we will discuss in the elaborately next class. But in the DC transmission system, only the parameter is resistance. L and C are eliminated. The losses are very, very less. There is no skin effect. That is very minute. That is not considered. There is no proximity effect, spirality effect. And the number of conductor requirement is only single conductor or 2 conductor. That is, the ground is act as a return conductor. The supporting structure required is pole. And the supporting structure, the cost is also very, very less. Now you can see here, advantages of the DC system comparing to the AC system requires only 2 conductors, or the single conductor also we can transfer the electric energy. Example, you can take the electric traction, only single conductor are there. The ground is act as a return conductor. And inductance and capacitance effect is very, very less. And the voltage regulation is good. That is, the voltage drop is very, very less. If without the inductance and capacitance effect, the skin effect is also not there. Proximity effect is not there. And the line insulation is very, very less. That is, losses is less. And communication interruption is also not available, and it is not affected for the corona, so on, etc. And one more thing, if the high voltage, it is not affected for the dielectric losses. That is, there is no insulation problem. And the synchronization is also very, very easy. And comparing to the drawbacks of the DC transmission system comparing to the AC system, what are the major drawbacks? We can boost the high amount of voltage, but in the AC we can boost up to 765 kV. But in the DC, the maximum is 25 kV, that is 25,000 volts. And step up and step down is not possible in the DC system. And one more thing, the substation cost is also very, very high. These are the various drawbacks of the DC transmission comparing to the AC system. Now we can compare for the advantages of AC transmission system comparing to the DC system. Here, what are the drawbacks in the AC system? What are the drawbacks in the AC system that we can, what are drawbacks in the DC transmission system that we can overcome in the AC system? But in the AC transmission system, we can boost the voltage as per our requirement. That is, You can boost the voltage to 66 kV, 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. And the maintenance is also very, very easy, and the cost is also cheaper. And the substation cost is also simple. And step up and step down is possible. Step up and step down is possible. But in the DC system, these are all drawbacks. And what are the drawbacks in the AC transmission system comparing to the DC transmission system? In AC transmission system, the losses is more, that is I square R losses. The losses is high. But in the DC system, the losses is very, very less, because in the DC system, the inductance and capacitance are eliminated. But in the AC system, due to the inductance and capacitance, the losses is more. Due to the inductance and capacitance, the skin effect is there, virality effect, proximity effect, and affected for the corona, so on, etc. And one more thing, the charging current is affected. That is, the charging current is affected for the IC. That is 2 pi FC into V phase. That is 2 pi is constant. The frequency, C in the sense, the effect of the capacitance, the phase voltage. And due to the capacitance, the charging current is affected. And due to the charging current, the line losses is increased. This all problem is not occurred in the AC transmission line. It all appeared in the DC system. These are the various advantages and disadvantages comparing to the AC system, comparing to the DC system. Up now, any doubts? And comparison between over a transmission line and an underground cable. Again, the transmission line based upon the operating voltage is split into primary transmission and secondary transmission line. And based upon the structure, it is represented for one is for over a transmission line, another one is for the underground cable. In over a transmission line, we can transfer the electric energy up to 765 kV, but in underground cable, maximum we can transfer the 66 kV. Beyond 66 kV, the insulation problem is occurred. We can transfer up to 132 kV, but additional cooling is required. That is oil cooling or gas cooling, that is nitrogen gas, so on, etc. And comparing to the various 10 to 12 parameters, in over a transmission line, all the conductor is visible. All the conductor is visible. Identification of problem and rectification of problem is easy. But in the underground cable, all it will be kept in the trench. But the identification of problem is difficult. The rectification of problem is also difficult. But the visible is good in the underground cable, but the visible is n number of conductor are connected, n number of tapping is there. The visible is difficult. But in over a transmission line, regular fault is occurred in the rainy season due to the heavy wind pressure or any accident is occurred. In over a transmission line, the fault occurrence is more. But in the underground cable, the fault occurrence is very, very less, because it is in the underground. The fault occurrence is very, very less. Another one, in over a transmission line, the cost is less comparing to the underground cable. But in underground cable, initial cost is more, but the maintenance is very, very less. The maintenance is very, very less. Now we can compare under the cost condition. In over a transmission line, the cost is less comparing to the underground cable. But in the underground cable, 4 to 5 times or up to the 10 times, the cost is high comparing to the over a transmission line, because the cable cost is very, very high. At the time of initial, we need to keep for the trench. And the second one, public safety. Underground cable, it is very, very safe. The no conductors are available in the open atmosphere, all in the underground. If any short circuit is occurred, automatically it will be flow into the ground particle. Suppose in the over a transmission line, unfortunately any accident is occurred, any one of the conductor is broken, that fallen into the ground particle, the surrounding the peoples are affected. And the maintenance cost, in over a transmission line, the maintenance cost is high, but in the underground cable, the maintenance cost is very, very less. And the frequency of fault and failure, in over a transmission line, the regular fault is occurred. In the rainy season, due to the high wind pressure, the conductors are short circuited, or any accident is occurred, or any tree fallen on the conductor, it is broken. The regular fault and the failure is occurring in the overhead transmission line. But in underground cable, these problems are not arises. And the frequency of accident, it is occurred only in the overhead transmission line, not occurred in the underground cable. And appearance, that is visible. In underground cable, all the conductor in the trench is not visible, for looking is good. But in the overhead transmission line, zigzagly connected, a number of tappings are there. That is, for looking is not good. Appearance is not good in the overhead transmission line. The appearance is good in the underground cable. The fault location and repair. Fault location is very easy in the overhead transmission line, and identification of fault, the rectification of fault is also easy, because all the conductor in the open atmosphere, it is visible, we can identify the fault and rectify the fault is easy. But in underground cable, identification is very, very difficult because it is in the trench, and rectification of fault is also very, very difficult. And the next one, jointing. In overhead transmission line, jointing is easy. That is the same aluminum conductor we are using, that is nothing but the ACSR conductor, aluminum conductor, steel reinforced. That is, we can use the same aluminum conductor. The jointing is very, very simple. But in the underground cable, the jointing is very, very difficult. Again, we are using for the leg and jointing with the help of the bolt net, That is for single core cable, that is up to the 2.5 square mm or 4 square mm up to 10 square mm, it is simple. Beyond the 10 square mm, the jointing is very, very difficult. That is an underground cable based upon the operating voltage, that is 33 or 66 kV they are using. But up to 33 kV, 132 kV also we can transfer the electric energy in the underground cable. The insulation problem is appeared. And another one, interference of communication line, that is radio interference signal. In underground cable, it is not affected for the interference signal, but overhead transmission line affected for the interference signal. The working voltage. In overhead transmission line, the operating 440 volt to up to 765 kV. But in the underground cable, you can use up to 66 kV without insulation problem. But beyond 66 kV, you can transfer the voltage 132 or 220. The insulation problem is occurred. And damage due to lightning and thunderstorm. The lightning and thunderstorm is problem occurred only in the overhead transmission line. It is not occurred in the underground cable. If the operating voltage is increased, that is, it is affected from 132 kV, 220, 400, and then 765 kV. The lightning and thunderstorm is not affected for the distribution system. That is 400 volt and then 11 kV. It is not affected. Only the thunderstorm and lightning is affected for the high operating voltage, that is 132, 220, 400, and 765 kV. And voltage drop. The voltage drop is available both overhead as well as for the underground system. But in overhead system, the voltage drop is more. But in the underground cable, the voltage drop is very, very less. The voltage drop is very, very less. Today class, we have discussed about how the power is transferred from generating station to the distribution system, and based upon the operating voltage, it is classified for primary and then secondary transmission, primary, secondary distribution system, and what is the necessity of the transmission then distribution line. What are the classification of supply system, that is AC as well as for the DC system, and the comparison between overhead and then underground cable. And we have discussed about advantages and disadvantages of AC transmission with respect to the DC system, DC with respect to the AC system. The main topics we will discuss in the next class.